The Evolution of the Guitar by Pat Frizzle. Guitars are dynamic, evolving instruments. Today, guitars are flat-bodied wonders with fretted necks and 6 strings. Frets are metal pieces cut into the neck at specific intervals. By pressing a string down onto a fret, guitarists change the string's length. This changes its tone when it vibrates. The guitar has a rich history that dates back to ancient times, but the first instruments that modern audiences would recognize as guitars developed in the 15th century. They arrived in Spain from northern Africa. Initially, some had only 4 strings and were much smaller than guitars today. Guitars were all acoustic, that is, their melodic sound was made from string vibrations in their hollow bodies. People used them to accompany songs and poetry. Acoustic guitars delight the ears but are not very loud. By the 20th century, they were often drowned out by trumpets, pianos, and even singers. Few could actually hear them. This changed in the 1920s when Lloyd Loar designed the first magnetic pickup, which could capture the acoustic guitar's string vibrations and amplify them electronically through speakers. A guitar could now hold its own with louder instruments. This was the birth of the electric guitar. Now guitarists can either amplify their acoustic hollow body guitars with pickups or play solid body electric guitars. The ways guitars sound and even how they are built continue to develop in fascinating ways. From the Power of Music by Elena Maines. Many musicians have an instinctive understanding of how musical sound interacts with our bodies. They know, they feel, that sound impacts our bodies in a way no other art does. Opera singer Irene Gabrud says, as a very young child, I experienced who I was through sound. I felt whole. Daniel Bernard Romain, a young cross-genre violinist who is known as DBR, thinks one reason music is so powerful is that sound actually penetrates our bodies. You know when someone says that a piece of music touched me or moved me, it's very literal. The sound of my voice enters your ear canal and it's moving your eardrum. That's a very intimate act. I am very literally touching you, and when you speak to me, you are literally touching me. And then we extend that principle to the sound of a violin. The conductor and pianist Daniel Barenboim believes that our early connection to sound is another reason for its power, one that in today's world we sometimes forget. He thinks that because we live in a very visual society, we're more aware of what we see than what we hear. But he reminds us that the latest scientific evidence reveals that the ear, which we now know is active even in the womb, has an advantage over the eye. He also says the ear has a head start over the eye, which doesn't see anything until it comes out. The eye is also something that one can control more fully. If you don't like the way I look and you don't want to see me, you close your eyes and I disappear. But if you don't like my voice and you're in the same room, then you can't shut your ears in a natural way. Sound literally penetrates the human body. This human relationship to sound starts early. The fetus begins to develop an auditory system between 17 and 19 weeks. Already we're in a world of sound, of breath and heartbeat, of rhythm and vibration. But how do we know what the fetus actually hears? Until recently, there were different theories. Some doctors thought that the fetus could hear only some frequencies, probably high ones. It certainly wasn't known whether we could hear and respond to music before birth until the groundbreaking research of Sheila Woodward, a South African who wanted to know more about musical sound in the womb. She was a young scientist in the early 1990s and pregnant. She wondered what music her own child was being exposed to before birth. In her studies at the University of Cape Town, she worked with the Institute for Maritime Technology to adapt an underwater microphone so it could be placed in the uterus. As we listen to the recordings that Woodward conducted with several mothers in early stages of labor, we first hear the rhythmic sound of blood coursing through the uterine artery. Says Woodward, nature allows us to evolve with rhythm all around us, and her recordings reveal that a landscape of musical sound does indeed surround the fetus. Along with the natural womb sounds, we can hear the strains of a Bach Brandenburg concerto being played, or the melody of Mary Had a Little Lamb, as Woodward sings in a normal tone of voice. The recordings show that the very high frequencies, like the shark attack of an instrument, are attenuated and sound a bit muffled. The overall effect is like listening to music underwater, but when listening to the human voice, one can still detect whether it's a woman or a man, and the tonal quality of the voice comes through. So just because the sound of music exists in the womb doesn't necessarily mean that the fetus hears it. Yet the startled response of the fetus was measured as well, and Woodward's team found that when music was played, the fetal heart rate became slightly elevated. Woodward says it was clear that the fetus reacted as if to say, something's happened, and now there's music. Other studies show that even if only the mother hears the music, if she has headphones on and it's music that she finds soothing, the baby's heart rate lowers while the mother is listening. If the mother finds a certain piece of music stressful, the baby's heart rate goes up, so the fetus is echoing the mother's response to the quality of music. Woodward is convinced that we begin learning about music even before birth. She points out that even when music that can penetrate the womb is absent, the fetus is surrounded by those natural rhythms of the body, heartbeat and pulse and breath.